Welcome to the Maryland Mortgage Rate Weekly Mortgage Market Update for the week of January 26, 2015. Hello, I'm John Thomas with Primary Residential Mortgage, here to give you an update. Well, last week we did see Maryland mortgage rates move higher. Hopefully you took our locking advice at the beginning of the week. If you take a look at the bond chart on the screen, you can see we've been on this upward rally in the bonds, but then we peaked out and they sold off on Monday when we dropped all the way down to Thursday. Thursday with the big green candle, we're finally able to rally back off of support. And then Friday we confirmed that rally as it moved higher with another green candle. So with that in mind, we're going to recommend floating your Maryland mortgage rate to start the week to see if the bond can build on this rally and we can see interest rates move lower. So cautiously floating to start the week is our advice. Now if we dig into the economic reports, big one last week is the European Central Bank, the ECB, announced that they're going to begin a quantitative easing or an asset purchase program. They're going to begin buying 60 billion euros a month until September 2016. That's about 1 trillion euros they're going to pump into the European economy, buying bonds to support and hopefully boost economic growth and move them out of the recession they're currently in. Then we had a report, the other thing is that move dropped the euro to an 11-year low against the dollar. So that's another move to strengthen our dollar. And then we saw a report come out of China. China released their GDP for 2014. It came out at 7.4%. Now that's the lowest GDP reading for China since 1990. And remember, GDP measures economic growth. So their economic growth is slowing. It's at the lowest level since 1990. That could be a drag as we move into 2015 on the world economy. So we'll keep you updated on that. And the price of crude oil dropped down again to $45.41 per barrel. So you're probably seeing this at the pump. You can now get gas below $2 a gallon if you search for it. I just filled up for $1.96 at an Exxon. So that's all a result of the crude price oil just continuing to drop. And the U.S. Department of Energy released that their crude inventories is to a 14-year high. As the price of oil is dropping, we have a glut of supply, which is helping it drop. So we're building up our oil reserves, which is a good thing. But oil refineries are operating at an 85% capacity. That's the lowest since 2003. Now that's going to be a drag on economies in states that are dependent on energy. For example, Texas is probably going to start having a drag on their housing. It's not going to be good if oil stays at $45 a barrel. They're going to see new home construction slow. They're going to see layoffs. So that may bode well for the housing, not bode well for the housing markets in states that are heavily dependent on energy if the price of oil stays as low as it is. So we'll keep an eye on that. Now, Thursday we saw the release of weekly initial jobless claims. It dropped 10,000 to 307,000 claims for the week. That's the second week in a row, though, we are above 300,000. So that is not a good trend. That's a weaker trend for the labor market. We need to see it move back below 300,000 or we might start seeing some bad news in the labor sector for jobs. In housing, we saw December 2014 housing starts. They were up 4.4% for November 2014 to 1.09 million units, the strongest pace in single-family home construction in almost 8 years. Now, housing starts are the number of new homes builders started construction on. And we are up 8.8% in 2014 over 2013 at 1.01 million units. That's the highest level since 2007. So there's some good news there on new home construction. And then building permits did drop slightly, about 1.9%. And that's typically, we do see a drop in building permits in the winter months. They're not starting applying for new construction. So not too worried about that because the number was still a good number even though it was a slight drop. So overall, new home construction definitely doing well. Then we saw a report on existing home sales for December 2014 released on Friday. They were up 2.4% for November, up to 5.04 million units. That is definitely good news there for existing home sales. That's the highest reading we've had since October, and inventory levels dropped 11.1% to 1.85 million units. That represents a 4.4 month supply of existing homes for sale. So the tightening inventory is causing home prices to rise. So it's turning into a seller's market. Now, in that report, first-time homebuyers represented 29% of sales in December. That's down from 31% in November, but that's up from 27% from December 13. So first-time homebuyers are still playing a big part in this market. And then we saw the median home price increase 6% from $197,700 up to $209,500. Then we saw another report on housing from the Federal Housing Finance Agency that released their home price index for November 2014. Shows home prices were up 0.8% from October. This was much stronger than expected, 0.3%. And year over year, the home price appreciation has moved up from 4.5% to 5.3%. So that's another good, strong report on housing, and we've got some good price appreciation. Then we saw another report from the National Association of Home Builders. They released their housing market index for January 2015. It came out 57. That's down from 58 the previous month, but 57 is still very good because anything above 50 is basically a sign of expansion in the home builder market. So they're feeling very good about this. This is real-time data. So this was January 2015. That's how they're feeling about the market right now, and it's very good for new home construction. The only downside in the report was buyer foot traffic was down in January, but overall, definitely a good, strong report. Now in the local news, the next first-time homebuyer seminar is Saturday, January 31st in Towson, Maryland, from 10 a.m. to noon at the Sheraton Baltimore North Hotel. You can register for that event by giving us a call in the office at 410-412-3319 or online, www.marylandhomebuyersseminars.com. Look forward to seeing you guys next week.